Good morning, learners. Happy April. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2020, also known as April Fool's Day. Now, I thought I would look up the origin of April Fool's Day. So, according to History.com, April Fool's Day has been celebrated for many centuries. 1 century equals 100 years, so many centuries would be hundreds of years, by different cultures. But the exact origin is a mystery. So they're not quite sure where it came from. They can trace it back to a few different cultures in a few different areas in the world. But the traditions include playing practical jokes on each other, yelling April Fools at the end of whatever prank you do so that the person knows that it's a prank. So it's been celebrated every year on April 1st in many different cultures for lots of centuries. So that's interesting. And then I also looked up, so on this day in history, so on April 1st, 1970, this relates to our work that we did in DARE. So on April 1st, 1970, President Richard Nixon banned advertisements for cigarettes on TV and radio. So cigarette companies were no longer allowed to have commercials on TV and radio because it was advertising something that was unhealthy for people. So that's interesting, and it relates to our DARE curriculum. Moving on. Our question of the day. We ran out of amazing questions, so these are just some conversation starter questions. The first one is, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Oh, thank you for asking. I would have to say my favorite ice cream flavor is cookies and cream. I think it's classic. I think it never lets me down. So what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Read about it, write about it, talk about it. I guess you could read about it. That's your question of the day. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? Moving on. Our mindful moment today is mindful listening. So this could feel a little awkward, but it's really important to do to practice our listening skills. So you and a partner are going to take turns, and the first partner that goes is going to talk for 30 seconds, and the other partner cannot interrupt and say anything. The other partner is just listening, using mindful listening, making eye contact, nonverbal cues, no talking, no answering. So one partner talks for 30 seconds about anything. The other partner says nothing, just listens. Then, once the 30 seconds are up, this partner that was listening has to tell the person who was talking what they heard. So it's really important that if you're the listener first, you're really listening because you have to tell the speaker what they just said. Once you've done that, so once one person has talked for 30 seconds, stopped, the listener has repeated back to the person what they heard, you switch. So then the listener becomes the speaker, and the speaker becomes the listener. And you go for 30 seconds. No answering, no talking. It's not a conversation back and forth. You're mindful listening and then repeating back what you heard. So give it a try. Next, I have a math strategy that I want to go over. So the purpose of solving math word problems is to prepare us for life when we're put into certain situations where we have to use math in order to continue on or to figure out what we're supposed to do. So a great strategy for solving math word problems is CUBES. CUBES is an acronym. It means circle the numbers, underline the question, box keywords, write an equation, and then solve the problem. Okay? So you can use CUBES in order to annotate or write on and mark up the math problem that you're solving. So I have a math problem here, and I'm going to cube it to show you how to do this strategy that you can use for any math word problem. So it says Marisol's kitchen has an area of 76 1400 square feet. Remember, we squarea our area. The length of the room is 9 4/10 feet. What is its width? Okay, so I'm going to cube it. So first I'm going to circle the numbers. I wonder if I could do this backwards. Circle the numbers. Next, I'm going to box keywords. So I have the area. I'm measuring in feet. So, I missed underline. Whatever, I like to box keywords. So, circle the numbers, box keywords, underline the question. I'm boxing with. Okay, so I've circled the numbers, I've underlined the question, I've boxed keywords. I boxed the keyword width because that's what I'm solving for. And then we're measuring width in feet, so I boxed feet. Next would be to write our equation. So I know that area equals length times width. But we already have the area, so that's not what I'm solving for. In order to figure out what the width is, we have to divide the area by the length. So I'm going to write my equation here. So an equation has an equal sign. If you don't write the equal sign, then it's just an expression. It's important to write your equal sign. So I have 76.14 divided by 9.4. And then you go through and you solve the problem. And then you go through your process of solving. So you would shift your divisor and shift your dividend, and then solve for a quotient. And the label on your quotient is feet because you've solved for the width. So it's just feet. So that's just a strategy that you can use. Again, it's called cubes. I didn't do it in order. You don't have to do it in order, except for these ones. So you can circle the numbers, underline the question, box the keywords, do that as you're reading it, and then you write your equation and you solve it. And it's very helpful to help our brains organize the information in the problem. So you can apply that strategy to your mathematics. And let's finish up with a story. All right. We have a letter. It actually landed on something else, but we had already done it, so I changed it to the letter. So we have a letter. I think it's a letter. Yeah, it's a letter. We have a letter, and we have a kind of happy face. It looks a little nervous, but it's happy. So do a one-sentence story tell with your group in order to tell a story about one of these images or topics, or write about emotions or letter writing, maybe write a letter. Use these to inspire your speaking or your writing. And that's that. So have a great day. Happy April. And until next time, it's Miss G. See you soon.